This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
Welcome again to another edition of the Road to FIFA 2027 World Cup. Yes, it is the studios of the 2026 World Cup road to it anyway, and it is happening right here on TVM. I am Fred O'Neill. I'm super excited because it is the biggest fiesta when it comes to football in the global stage. It's less than 60 days from today as we speak. Yes, before the Mondial kicks off, and all 48 teams have been confirmed, yes, in for the World Cup that will be taking place in North America. The 48 teams are complete, and of course, we're going to be looking at who made it and what it means for each of the teams as they qualify. Remember, the tournament is scheduled to take place. Of course, the kickoff, the first day of the tournament, happened to be on a Thursday, the 11th day of June 2026. And that opening match featuring co-host Mexico at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico. Yes, like I said, the journey is complete. The 48 teams are heading to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And of course, hosted by three nations for the first time, three nations co-hosting the World Cup: the USA, Mexico, and Canada. Now we'll look at what it means, of course, who made it to the World Cup and what it means for each and every one of them. And of course, the story already shaping up. Yes, that will be having some, no doubt about it, there's going to be historic events in the forthcoming tournament. Now let's look at the teams that have qualified so far in the World Cup. Let's start from UEFA. UEFA has 16, CAF has 9. CONMEBOL, that's from the southern part of America. CONMEBOL, yes, they have 6. And we have the Oceania having 1. Playoffs, we have 6 coming in from the European aspect, and of course the inter-confederation playoffs. But let's look at the countries that have qualified from UEFA: Austria, Belgium, England, France, Germany, Norway, Portugal, Scotland, Spain, Belgium. Yes, they have qualified. Of course, Croatia, England again, and of course these are the countries of Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Spain. All right. Now let's also tell you that these are the nations, 16 nations that have qualified from the UEFA angle. What about CAF? We have 9 teams that have qualified from CAF as it is. We have Algeria, we have Cabo Verde, we have Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Ghana, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia. What about the AFC? Yes, we have the AFC, talking about the Asian Football Confederation, where we have 8 nations have qualified. It's not here on our graphic, so don't get it twisted. But I'm going to read them out. From the Asia aspect, we have Australia, we have Iran, Japan, Jordan, we have Korea Republic, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Uzbekistan. What about the common ball? Like I said, from the southern part of America, we have Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, and Uruguay. These are the nations representing the southern part of America, that's South America. What about CONCACAF? Yes, CONCACAF, we have the north part of America. We have 3 nations that automatically qualify from the CONCACAF, and that is Canada, Mexico, and the United States. 3 host nations qualified automatically. Who are the other 3 nations? Curacao, Haiti, and Panama. And then we talked about the Oceania. Yes, we have 1 team representing the Oceania, and that is New Zealand. What about the playoffs? We have Bosnia and Herzegovina from UEFA. We have Cheshire from UEFA. We have DR Congo from CAF and Intercontinental Playoff. We have Iraq also from the AFC and Intercontinental. Sweden from UEFA and Turkey from UEFA. Now, for the first time ever, all 48 teams will compete at the World Cup, expanding the global reach of football like never before. In fact, I'm super excited. Yes, I know when I was counting the names, the nations representing Africa, Nigeria was not there. We'll talk about that. But one thing is certain, there is European domination in coming in this tournament. Of course, they are coming in with debt. Africa hits a record 10 times. Now, 9 qualified automatically, and then the DR Congo came through the playoffs. And representing Africa, we have 10 teams. What about Asia? They closed the gap in a global stage for the World Cup. And of course, Oceania making history for the first time going into the World Cup proper. This is no longer just elite football. This is global football. I tell you, it's super, super exciting right here. Now, I want you to understand something. This is the global showpiece when it comes to the World Cup proper. When it comes to world football. If your team, if your nation is not in this particular tournament, then, like we used to say, Otilo in Nigeria. All right, we'll take a breather. When we come back, we'll be looking at the winners and the loser. Like I told you, I said we'll be looking at those teams that did not make it. One of the casualties is Nigeria. Cameroon from the African continent. What about from Europe? We have one time, not just one time, one of the winners of the World Cup, Italy, they couldn't make it to the World Cup. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk about that.
Good morning, Canada. Time to check.
right, welcome back. And this is the road to FIFA 2026 World Cup that will be taking place in the northern part of America. 3 nations for the first time coming together to host the World Cup. United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Now, before we went on the break, we said we're going to be talking about the winners and the losers and the power shifts, because definitely power is being shifted when it comes to World Cup, when it comes to world football. But let's look at several high-ranking nations and traditional football powerhouses that failed to secure qualification for the 2026 FIFA World Cup that will be taking place in North America. Now, the most notable absentees, that's those that will not be in the World Cup this time. They include from Europe, Italy. Yes, Italy. They are the 4-time champions. They are going to miss this their 3rd consecutive World Cup after a penalty shoot loss to Bosnia and Herzegovina in the playoff final. Remember, Bosnia and Herzegovina is among the countries that I mentioned that made it to the World Cup. Now, it was a playoff game between Italy and Bosnia, and of course, Italy could not win that particular one for them to get a ticket as a backroom to the World Cup. So Italy is one of the greatest casualties going into the World Cup. Denmark, well, for Italy, this is the 3rd time consecutively that they have failed to appear in the World Cup. They were not there in 2022, they were not there in, 2018 or thereabout. And yes, this is the 3rd time now consecutively that they are not going to be in the World Cup. For Denmark, they failed to qualify after losing to Cheshire on penalties again in the playoff semi-final. So during the semi-finals, Denmark was knocked off. This is another great casualty going into the World Cup. For Poland, where we have the likes of Robert Lewandowski, he will not be in the World Cup. And of course, they miss out after Sweden defeated them by 3-2 in the final qualification match. Other teams that missed out are Ukraine, from the European aspect anyway. Ukraine, Wales, Serbia, and Hungary, and of course, Greece. These are the teams that could not make it out of Europe, and of course, they won't be in the Mondial. What about from Africa? Let's look at Africa. Nigeria, the highest ranked African team to miss out. In fact, the last time out I checked, they were placed on the 26th in the FIFA ranking. They lost to DR Congo on penalties in the CAF playoff final. And of course, DR Congo went on to represent Africa in that intercontinental playoffs final against Jamaica, where they won on penalties as well. So, yes, another casualty coming in from the African perspective is Cameroon. They failed to advance from their group, okay? And of course, finished behind Cabo Verde in their group. And then they went to the CAF playoffs, where DR Congo defeated Cameroon, and of course, DR Congo also defeated Nigeria as well. Let's go away, because these are the biggest names from African football, Nigeria and Cameroon. What about South America from the Congo era that I told you? One notable team that, at least ranked in the top 50, that's not going to be in the World Cup is Venezuela. Now, this is one team that's been doing well in previous editions, but they will not be in the Mondial as we speak. Other notable top 50 absentees, as teams who are from number 1 to 50 in that bracket in the FIFA World Cup, are Slovakia and Russia, where for Russia it is understandable that they are being suspended as a result of Russia and Ukraine, impasse war that is going on right there. So, who are the big winners? Because we just look at the big losers in the qualification series to the World Cup in 2026. So, who are the big losers and the big winners in this particular conversation? You look at Africa. You look at Asia. You look at some other smaller nations. For Africa, let's look at the notable absentees. We say that behind the celebration lies a deeper story, which we say power is shifting in world football. Well, that's a topic for another day. But let's look at this. The big winners, Africa. Asia, and those smaller nations. For Africa, like I said, they were given an opportunity. 9 slots were given to Africa, automatic slots. You win your group, you qualify for the Mondial. 9 teams won that window. And what about the 10th team? Because Africa is going into this World Cup with 10 teams. What about the 10th? And that's DR Congo through the playoffs. So it's a big win for Africa. And you know, FIFA has always been saying that they want to make Africa proud by giving them enough slots. So this is not just only Africa. What about Asia? Asia is going into this tournament with, I think, about 9 teams as well. And it was not so. All right, so 10 teams mean more representation when it comes to Africa. And it means competition within the continent has intensified. So this is how Africa, is rising when it comes to world football. Now, the following nations are making their FIFA World Cup debut this 2026 World Cup. Who are these teams? Cabo Verde from Africa. Also from Africa, we have CONCACAF, we have Curacao, and of course Jordan from the Asian football region, and of course Uzbekistan. These are 4 teams that are coming to the World Cup for the first time in their history. So congratulations to Africa, CONCACAF, and of course the AFC. The AFC produced, by the way, 2 teams, Jordan and Uzbekistan. For Africa, it is Cabo Verde. This is their first time coming. For Asia, they are emerging, and of course Asia's increased presence signifies long-term investments that is now paying off for them. Well, for the big absentees, like I said, several high-ranking nations, which we talked about, powerhouses that failed to secure qualification for the World Cup. I know we touched about on this one before. We see in Africa, in Europe, and of course in Common Ball on all of that. All right, I think we've done that bit now. The next bit, we're going to be looking at the aspects where we always do we always do this when it comes to the road to FIFA, okay? We always do this trivia and historical highs. When we come back from this short break, we will be looking at the trivia and historical highs, the World Cup classics, where we will show you some major things that happened in the World Cup in the past. And of course, we'll be looking forward to seeing some of these iconic moments again in USA, Canada, Mexico 2026. Stay with us. Don't go nowhere. All right, welcome back from that break, and it is the road to FIFA 2026. I want you to know that this is a program, a magazine program, where we touch on things and aspects of the World Cup that's coming up in US, Canada, and Mexico, beginning from June and to end in July. It is the greatest football fiesta you can imagine globally. Yes, and of course, we on TVM, we are showcasing this magazine and we are letting you know that you can follow us and you can watch every of our other contents via the digital platform you can see on the screen. And of course, you can do business with us by sponsoring this program, because when the World Cup begins, we will have a live studio right here monitoring the games, as it were. And we are asking you to be partner with us on this program leading to the Mondial coming up in the month of June. So get in touch with us on the numbers on the screen that you see right now, and of course via any of our digital platforms. All right, let's go to the trivia and historic highs, and of course World Cup classics. We'll be showing you some clips to take you back into memory time. I mean, if you've been following world football. Let's start with World Cup quick facts quickly. Before the 2026 writes its own story, because every World Cup writes its own story, let's rewind to some of the greatest moments in World Cup history. Now, the highest scoring tournament, this is one of them. Quick fire trivia that we have here. The highest scoring tournament was seen in 2022. Where before the 2022 World Cup that was won by Argentina, Brazil actually and France had these records of 171 goals scored. At France 1998, we saw 171 goals scored, and then in 2014 World Cup that was hosted by Brazil, we also saw that tournament match the record done by France in 1998, 171 goals. But then that in Qatar in 2022 stands as the highest scoring tournament with 172 goals. What about the fastest goal by a substitute? Well, that was scored by Ebsand for Denmark, and that was a game against Nigeria in France 98. That goal was scored just 16 seconds into the game. 16 seconds. That's the fastest goal scored by a substitute. That's a goal scored by Ebsand of Denmark. All right, let's go away from that. Let's show you some clips now. Iconic moments. This one, on Rashidi Yekini. Yes, in 1994, in USA 94, this was Nigeria's first World Cup goal against Bulgaria. Just imagine, that's Amokachi now, and that's a ball to Finidi George, and then what's his name now? The late Rashidi Yekini. That iconic moment where he held on to that net for a pretty long time. Let's go away from that one. What about the goals scored by Zinedine Zidane in France 1998? And this game was between France and Brazil in the final. Headers coming from Zinedine Zidane. 2 goals he scored in that particular game. That game ended 3-0, by the way. But, headers coming in from Zinedine Zidane. That's another iconic moment we can never forget in a hurry. And then, fast forward to the last or the previous World Cup held in Qatar. The iconic moment, 2022 triumph of Lionel Messi's Argentina against France. It was this spot kick by Lionel Messi that spells doom for the French national team. These are the iconic moments that we have brought to you today. I don't know which one is your best, but as a Nigerian, I think that goal, the first goal scored in the World Cup by Nigeria, is for me the best of the iconic moments for today. I don't know about yours. If you can, wherever you're watching, you can drop us a message on our WhatsApp number and or send in as a text message to let us know which is your iconic moment in the 3 clips I just showed. Or you can even go the extra mile to tell me which is your iconic moment aside these clips that we just showed you. All right, let's look at some engagement line now. And of course, this is what we want you to do. You can go to our social media page to drop your answer to this particular question. You can drop your answers there. And now the question is, which World Cup moment defined your love for football? Which World Cup moment defined your love for football? I mean, if you have never loved football before, but because you watched a particular game in any of the World Cup you've watched in your life, that particular game now changed your perception about football and say, look, you know what? I love the game of football. Share that thought to us. Send it to any of our digital platform. It could be on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on X, or even on TikTok. Wherever you see this particular question, wherever in any of these digital platforms, do well to respond. And of course, we'll read them out in our next episode. All right, this is where I'll have to be drawing the curtain pretty soon. But before I draw the curtain, just to let you know that the teams are ready. The teams are ready. And of course, the stage is set. The history is waiting to be made, to be written. Okay? So, like I said earlier on when we started, the 48 teams have been confirmed. And I read out the teams. Those from Africa, those from North America, those from South America, those from Asia, those from the Oceania, and of course from Asia. They have been confirmed. 48 teams. Like I said, if your team or your nation is not in this bracket, Otilo for you. Well, like we used to say, this is no longer just elite football. It is a global fiesta when it comes to football. Okay, so for next week, by the way, just to let you know, just to prep you of what we'll be doing next edition, we will look into Africa's top 10 teams, or the 10 teams representing Africa. We'll look at them. Who will be asking the question, who is going to carry the continent's hopes going into the World Cup? Who do you think would be the team that will make us proud? Remember, in 2022 in Qatar, one nation made history from Africa. Before then, we had only a couple of teams that had gotten to the quarterfinals of the World Cup, you know, and Morocco had to break that, that's, I don't want to use that word. But hey, Morocco had to break that, okay? Had to break that curse. And for the first time, an African team got to the semifinals and also went to play the third and fourth place. I'm talking about Morocco. They did Africa proud. So which team do you think among the African nations going into the World Cup would, get not only to the semifinals, probably get into the finals of this year's World Cup? Because I want to be very sincere with you. This could just be Africa's opportunity to get to the final and probably win the World Cup. I know some of you will say, yeah, but Nigeria is not there now. Nigeria would have been the team to. They could not qualify, even through all the windows that CAF threw at them. All right, so let's not get it twisted. The simple truth is, who can truly go far? That's the question we're asking. You can also drop that in your answers to any of our handles right there, of course, via WhatsApp and text message as well. Who do you think could go that far from Africa in the World Cup? Which African team do you think can bring glory to Africa in the World Cup? All right. This is where I'll draw the curtains right here. And of course, I'll see you again next week, Wednesday, for a fresh episode of The Road to FIFA 2026. From me, Ace